Hello ladies and gents, let's talk about Midnight Mass. This is the new 7-episode miniseries on Netflix, directed and created / part written by Mike Flanagan and his brother. Now Mike Flanagan's a name that you might know from The Haunting of Hill House. Now Mike Flanagan, directed these episodes, this series, and although you might know him from The Haunting of Hill House and things like that, this is the standout. This is where he puts his name on the map. This series, this is incredible. It's absolutely staggeringly good. I cannot stress that enough, just how good this is. 7 episodes. I wanted to binge it. I simply couldn't. They are very long. They're like an hour and 5-minute episodes. And it is a great story. It is a great show. It wraps itself up in the most perfect of ways. Some people may be disappointed if you don't like those kind of endings where it all wraps itself up. You know, I had such a good time with this. This was really good. So, let's talk non-spoilers as quickly as possible. Right, quickly as possible. Small island off the coast of somewhere in America. Man comes home, probably, I don't know, mid-30s by the looks of him, although I've got no gauge on ages anymore. Mid-30s, comes home after being released from prison. He was in prison for drunk driving and manslaughter. He murdered his girlfriend by accident, obviously from drunk driving. And he comes home, and on the same ferry home is a priest. Now, this priest comes back, or is coming, well, it basically comes to the island as a replacement for Monsignor Pruitt, the former island's priest. Now, this is a very devout Christian island, or was anyway to a certain degree. They seem very religious anyway, or on the whole, and they don't have a lot going for it. Right? We all know these kind of fishermen's islands, or fisherman towns, seaside towns, not a lot going for it. You know, the sort of old industries are dying out, and seldom does new economy start to take hold. Oh God, this was very, very good. Basically, new father comes, new priest comes, and strange things start happening. That's as non-spoilery as I can get. To talk about the cinematography, the sound design, all technical aspects, near perfect. Netflix has a habit of really drawing their films out. Their series, when they're a good series, they're good. They don't have any editing problems with their series. I don't understand why Netflix makes such bad editing choices when it comes to movies. This was staggeringly good. Staggeringly good. The pace is just right. They leave you on just enough little cliffhangers here and there to make you want more. They tease and drip feed just enough information to make you go, oh, wow, okay. Now, the twists and turns that happen throughout this are not a revelation, pun intended if you've watched the show, but they are done in a way that is very satisfying. I think if you've watched some of these kind of shows before, you're not going to be massively surprised by things that happen. There were some shocking moments that occurred throughout this where I was like, oh wow, I was taken aback. But the thing is when you're you are heavily invested in such a storyline, it doesn't matter that not everything is wowing you in terms of the twists and turns. Because you're invested, you want to watch the story play out regardless of whether it's surprising you or not. And they did that very, very well on this. Really, really well. So let's talk through some of the people here, right? Some of the actors involved. Zach Gilford played Riley Flynn, the man who comes home after murdering his girlfriend and being in prison. Great actor. Him and Kate Siegel as Erin Green, that interaction was heartbreaking, but also heartwarming. You'll know what I mean if you've watched it. It was just so beautifully done. There were so many beautiful moments in this series. Now, a lot of people may be put off by the concept of talking about religion and Christianity and things like that. Don't be. It's done in a very earnest way and is actually quite, I don't know, it's very nice. It was all very nice. I really liked it. Oh, God, I had such a good time with this. Oh, I had such a good time. When not a spoiler, but when Zach and Erin, when Riley and Erin, sorry, start talking about death. And then obviously what precedes it. So heartwarming. Touching. You know, really, really, really very well scripted. Really well scripted, in fact. I haven't watched a show this good for a long time. Every person feels like a person. The actor who played the father, he was really, really good. He was great. I believe it is Hamish Linklater. He was great. He brought a lot of nuance to this performance. Very subtle sort of break in cadence on what he was saying, which added a new layer to his character in a very, very good way, and it made you believe what is revealed to us. Basically, you put 2 and 2 together quite well. The prosthetics, the special effects work was all very, very good, very, very good stuff. There was one thing which I can say in non-spoilers before we get to the spoiler part. One major special effects part, which is the first introduction to the special effects stuff. Not the best. But I think that was because it was lit poorly. And I think that's why. Great show. Yeah, Samantha Sloyan as Bev Keane. Oh, you love to hate her. I cannot recommend this show enough. This is what will put Mike Flanagan on the map. The Haunting of Hill House, sure, fine. But this is what he directed. And he did a very good job. It is near perfect. Like, genuinely, in my eyes, it's genuinely near perfect. I don't like doing ratings. But this is one of those ones I'd probably end up giving something like a 9 out of 10 if I could. Or if I did. It's fantastic. So, you must go and watch this if you've got Netflix. You're not going to be disappointed. It's not a straight up horror series. Don't go into it expecting a horror series. Just don't. I didn't watch any trailers for this. I just got told to watch it. So I did. I went out and watched it. Go in with as little expectation as possible. Obviously difficult because I've raved about it so much. But I don't think you'll be disappointed. Go watch it. So let's talk spoilers now. Let's talk the big ol' spoileroonies. And we're going to get straight into the end. So click off the video now. Well, we're going to get into episode 6 and 7 and then obviously, the subsequent ending. Riley Flynn and Erin Green. Fuck me, Riley's death. I couldn't believe it. I actually couldn't believe it. When he went out, I love you, Erin Green, in many ways, always have, always will, blah, 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 blah. And then he dies. But then he sees his girlfriend. That wrapped it up in such a nice bow. It made so much sense from his dream to wrap it up to there. I loved that so much. And I tell you what, I almost welled up a little bit when they're having all that discussion about death and things like that. And it wrapped that up really well. As well. It was really well done. And then to go from such a tranquil moment, him being reunited in the afterlife or his dream space with his girlfriend that he'd murdered, that he obviously resented himself so much for, to then cut immediately back to Erin Green screaming and shouting with his ashen corpse pouring all over her. Harrowing. So good. So, like, what's the story? Like, obviously, you know, you're in spoilers now. What is the actual story if you haven't watched it? Basically, Monsignor Pruitt goes on a holy pilgrimage, and in his dementia-ridden state stumbles into the sand dunes where a sandstorm's happening. The sandstorm unearths a temple or a cave. In the temple or the cave is what he perceives to be an angel. It's a vampire. It's what I would say it's a vampire, right? Like, that's what it looks like to me. It's got wings. It sucks his blood, and then it resurrects him. But it resurrected him after he called him an angel. I did find that to be quite surprising. It was only really after that that the angel, let's just call him that, chose to resurrect Monsignor Pruitt, which I thought that was quite surprising. But anyway, Monsignor Pruitt chooses to take the angel. Now, himself being reborn again young, take the angel back to Crockett Island, where he chooses to lie about who he is and basically start poisoning the islanders with the angel's blood. Basically trying to convert them into what he became. He believes he has been chosen by God because of this angel. Absolutely riddled with his Christianity and the sort of blind belief in what he was seeing. And from there, you know, miracles start happening because of the blood, the sacrament, taking mass. And yeah, it culminates in a massive ending where they all just stand there and they burn to death. Because all the houses have been burnt down. And there was nowhere for them to go. But I really liked the way that the father came around at the end. You know, and basically his faith wasn't as strong as what he made it out to be. You know, he took his collar off and he said, you know, what a great way it would be to have a second chance. That's a miracle. You can do all of this, but that wouldn't be that wouldn't be a miracle. There's so many touching moments in this that really humanize all the characters, but in not a hammy way. It's not forced. It just worked. Erin Green losing her baby. Talking about it, you know, how the soul would just float up, be surrounded by her family. She wouldn't know it was her family, but you know, they all loved her, and then they'd see me again. You know, just heartbreaking, but so lovely. I genuinely. Oh, and also, by the way, the thing that I mentioned in the non-spoiler part, the special effects of the angel when we first see him, not that great, not that great. I don't know what it was. I just think it wasn't lit particularly well. Don't know why. It just wasn't particularly great. But I tell you what, this show absolutely deserves your attention. It absolutely deserves all the praise it's getting. I mean, even just down to the posters. Look, I'm looking at the poster now. The poster looks amazing. I don't think it makes it out to be something that it's not. I think this, you know, I think definitely go in with open mind, and yeah, it's best to not actually watch any trailers. I didn't watch any trailers and I loved it. It's genuinely scary at times. You know, there are moments where you're like, oh wow, like when we first see the angel on the uplands. I think it was the uplands. But we're told a ghost story before, so you do think, oh, maybe it's that. Oh no, what? Yeah, real good. Real good. Love this show. Love this show. Can't recommend it enough. Near perfect. I don't know what Netflix are doing with their editors on movies versus series, because whoever edited this is great. If you've watched it, let me know what you guys think down below. I think this show deserves your attention. Strong recommendation from me. It's seldom that Netflix has a good series by the Western world. Western filmmakers, normally it's always like South Koreans. South Korea, they get good people from South Korea making stuff for them now. Western stuff, not so good. But this was great. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Were you as touched as I was by certain moments? Or did you just not care? Am I getting old and sappy in my old age? Let me know. These white hairs don't come, you know, for free. Gotta lay down some years to get them. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care.